So hey guys, welcome back to Miss Mackenzie's YouTube channel. So today we're going to be focusing on stem and leaf plot. So the first thing you want to know is what is a stem and a leaf plot. So that's the first thing you want to know. Alrighty, so what is a stem and leaf plot? A stem and leaf plot is a way of organizing numbers to show their distribution while keeping the original data values. So nothing changes. So another thing that you need to know about stem and leaf plot, you need to know what the stem represents and what the plot and what the leaf, represents. Now it basically sets out like a tens and ones chart. So the stem represents the 10 or the first part of the number, which is usually the tens, and the leaf represents the last digit, which is usually the ones. So one of the things that you need to understand when doing a stem and leaf plot, for example, if you are given the numbers 9, 10, 12, 9, 11, and let's say another 10. So let's say you're given those numbers. In order for you to plot those, the first thing that you have to do is to find the smallest number first all the way to the largest. So you're basically putting it in counting order. So we know that 9 comes first when you're counting, and you want to list all the numbers that are there. You don't want to leave any number behind. So the first thing you're doing is putting your numbers in order from smallest to the largest before you can plot your stem and leaf graph. Alright, so with single digits, oftentimes persons are confused. They don't know if they should put the 9 here or they should put the 9 here. But what you want to understand, since it's like a tens and ones chart, since these are single digits, there are no tens. So you have 0 tens. And then you add the single digit to the ones column where you have the leaf, because the leaf represents the 1. So the stem represents the tens and the leaves represents the ones in this case. Now we have another stem, and that stem has 1 tens. So we put it over here. Now there's no need for you to write 1 1 1 going all the way down. Once you have your 1, you don't need to rewrite it. So all you need to do now is to add the rest of the numbers. So this represents 10, that represents the other 10, and that represents the other 11. Also, there's another number with the 1, which is 12. And there you go, you have your tens, your stem and leaf plot. Now, what if I had gone and added another number? What if I had added 24, for example? 24 would still be the last number if you put it in order. So since we have a new stem, which is 2, we add our new stem and we basically write our new leaf on that side. So it's basically splitting the numbers in 2. The first set of numbers, our number goes to the stem, and the last set comes to the leaf. Alright, so let's look at this example. So we have a stem and leaf plot here, but we don't know how to put on these numbers. The first thing that you have to follow is to put the numbers in counting order. Put them from smallest to largest. So we know that when we're counting, 120 would come first, then 122, then 123, then 140, then 141 or 141, doesn't matter. All right, so now that they're in counting order, it's time for us to actually put them on our stem and leaf graph or plot. Now we realize that there are two numbers here. What am I going to do? Now in this case, the stem is going to represent the tens and the hundreds. So it means the first two numbers, the leaves will always represent the ones. So you don't have to worry about that. So the first two numbers will always go to the stem. Now, looking at this, we have a stem of 12. We have three numbers that shows us 12. But what is the rest of the numbers that finishes off 12? So 0, 2, 3. So it's no need for you to write 12, 12, 12 all the way down and finish out the numbers. No. Once you write that stem one time, it's okay for you to go ahead and add the others. And don't forget your commas. They're very important. If you leave them out, it will just seem like one big number across. Now our next stem is 14. And so we add the numbers that comes after. It still means 140, 141. That's what it still means. So stem and leaf plot is basically splitting the numbers into two while keeping, so you're distributing the numbers while you're keeping the value of the numbers, so the value don't change. So what if they gave you this stem and leaf plot? They just gave it to you like that and said, list out all the numbers on the stem and leaf plot. The first thing you know, you have your 12 and the 0, that becomes 120, and you go ahead and you list them out. It's the same value. They keep the same value. It's just that they are separated. They are distributed. All right, so what if you got a stem and leaf plot like this and they said to you to list out all the numbers? Now, in order for you to actually do a stem and leaf plot, the numbers must be in order from smallest to largest. So these are already placed in order. Now, when you take a look at it, the first stem is a 1 and the first leaf is a 1. So that's 11. Now this stem here represents all the numbers here. So the stem is a 1 and our second number is a 2. So that's 12. The stem is a 1, our third number is a 3, which gives us 13. So now we're moving on to the second stem, which is 2. The 2 over here for the leaf, that gives us 22. We're writing back our stem because there are so many numbers here, so it means that this stem has not been completely used. So now we're at 4, 24. Writing back this stem because there's another 4. So it doesn't matter if they had 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, you'd still have to list out all of those 24. Don't just write 1 because they did not give you 1. They gave you more than 1. Our next stem is a 3. What comes after? That's a 5, so that's 35. We're not finished with the one with the stem, the 3. So this is a 6. Right back the stem, and we have to finish out all the numbers together, comma. Now we're at the stem 4. So this is 4. If I only write 40, it means that I am not finished because there are other numbers there, comma. Right back this stem. What's the next number? 1, 41. Right back this stem, and the leaf is 2. That gives me 42. So those would have been all the numbers on this stem and leaf plot. All right, so let's take a look at this, and we're working with bigger numbers. So we have 1,100, 1,101, 1,102, 1,103. Now they're already in order. I placed them in order for a reason. Now persons might ask, how am I supposed to do this? What you're looking at is the first 3 digits. They're all the same. And remember, when you're dealing with stem and leaf, when it comes on to the ones column, which is the leaves, you only put 1 digit over here. It doesn't matter the number that you get, it's just 1 single digit over this side. So the first 3 digits would go to stem, and the first number, that's 100, comma 1, 2, 3, and you're finished. So if it's a case where these did not come in order, you'll have to put them in order from smallest to largest, and then you would have to put them on your stem and leaf plot. So thank you for tuning in to Miss Mackenzie's YouTube channel. I hope that you like, share, and subscribe. And I also hope that you would have learned something today about stem and leaf plot. Now this is an activity that you can try on your own. It says draw a stem and leaf plot for each group of numbers. I have group A and group B. Always remember to put your numbers in order from the smallest to the largest, and then you can draw your stem and leaf plot. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.